And so I will say, grand rising, everyone. And I'm happy that you're here with us. I'm tripping all over these cords. Sorry about that. This month, October, is typically the month when we begin to lean into our stewardship program, our beautiful opportunity to support our center. And so in tandem with this program, you might notice a beautiful altar here in front of the podium. If you can't see it in the back, come up and see it later. Thank you so much, Kathy Story, for putting this together. As our committed givers and tithers commit their financial gifts for 2026, you'll start seeing little faces show up on those stars. And so right now I can tell you that those stars will be filled with our Board of Trustee members because they are all committed givers or tithers. And I can also tell you that our staff, the people who work for this center, who are on payroll, they are all tithing to this community. And it is a beautiful practice of stewardship and ownership and really blessing our center with circulation. And so I'm so grateful for that. And so last week, I shared my own personal abundance story, and this week we have someone who is on staff who's going to share a few reasons why they are committed to giving to our beautiful center. Come on up, Debbie Morris, who's our youth and family coordinator.
I've never been on this side before. Okay. 3 reasons why I participate in the pledge drive, and I have for many, many years. As a bookkeeper and former bookkeeper for the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, I know that it's nice to know how much money I'm going to be working with, so I know how much I can spend. Imagine not knowing the amount of income that you're going to have for the year. Or imagine how hard it is to create a budget when you don't know. Second reason is commitment. I want to show my commitment in an identifiable way. My commitment to this center, to the congregation, to the teachings, to the minister, to the staff, and to the programs that we provide. The third one is goal setting and personal growth. When I pledge, I am setting a goal for myself. This teaching and principles are for me. When I set a goal and I meet it, it feels great. And I get a great sense of accomplishment. If I don't make it, I can try it again until I do. Try participating in the Committed Giving campaign. I guarantee you, you won't run out of money and you will be blessed with abundance.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was just so perfectly said. I appreciate that. And I think a lot of us who are part of our stewardship program absolutely know what Debbie was talking about. That we have this opportunity to stretch, to glow up, if you will. And that, of course, is our theme for this month. In October, we're working with this idea of glowing up. I'm not saying growing up, I'm saying glowing up. And that term is a term that the hipsters use for, and I actually, it's so funny because I had never heard this term before, and I was watching television. It was actually the 4th season of the morning show, and one of the characters walked up to a Hollywood guy and said, "Wow, you're really glowing up with this new look." And that is what glowing up means in the trend, in the zeitgeist right now. It means that this idea of transformation, and in the hipster term, it's really talking about transformation at a superficial level. But when we talk about glowing up this month, we're talking about glowing up from the inside out, from a deep intrinsic space of really diving into our spiritual selves and having the experience of transformation. Yes, having the experience of transformation. And what I'll tell you is that I'm having my own personal glow up these days. I am absolutely experiencing transformation in my relationships. I'm experiencing transformation in my finances. I'm experiencing transformation in the way I do business as a minister. Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like a business, but there's a method to it, as well as that spiritual trusting. And so for me, glowing up is leaning into our spiritual magnificence, leaning into that place within us that wants to be full out, authentically expressed. And so as we move through our stewardship program, our theme is home is everywhere we are together. And this little altar here is an opportunity for us to remember that we're always walking by faith, that when we do this practice of giving, when we do the practice of, and treat it as a spiritual practice, that we really are walking by faith and not by sight. We're completely trusting the universe is in full circulation in our lives. You know, I was reflecting, we've been meeting in this lovely sanctuary since April, and when we sold our building, we entered into this liminal space, not really knowing what was next. We knew we had to land someplace quickly when we signed the contract to sell our building, and I knew that we didn't want to rush into anything, that we wanted to be able to really be grounded and clear before we made a choice. And you know, you can talk to the people, the members of our community. There's a lot of different opinions about where we should be and when, you know, how our community should land. And so knowing that, I had to walk by faith and not by sight and trust. And we had this amazing opportunity to come here and to rehome ourselves in a temporary space, a transitional space, but a lovely space, and not really knowing what we were going to do in the long term. And so while we were really grateful for what that building that we sold gave us, you know, the years of laughter and music and so much prayer in that beautiful sanctuary, when we handed over the keys, it was a little feeling of, ooh, what's next? And then when we found ourselves here, I think it was a little bit like, oh, what's this energy here? Where are we here? We didn't, and what I'm so amazed about when we began to enter into agreement with the Baha'i Center was that they didn't ask us to change our name. They didn't ask us to shift our teaching in any way. They didn't ask us to change the way that we congregated and were in community. And as I think about that, that's a really powerful gift. To come into another spiritual community that has their own way of being with the divine and accepting us exactly as we are. Don't you agree? Yeah. And I would love to tell you that I orchestrated that. It was the divine. It was the divine that brought us to this place. And when I think about this idea of, you know, today is Indigenous Peoples Day. And it is a time when we really acknowledge the people who came before us, the people who were the stewards before us of Mother Earth. And when I think about the way the Baha'is received us, it feels like what Mother Earth does. She receives the seeds that want to be planted in the fertile soil. She doesn't say, oh, that rose seed isn't a tomato seed, so out with you. No, it just accepts the seeds that are planted. The soil enriches it, and they blossom as they are from their authentic self. And that's the experience that we're having in our temporary home here. We are completely allowed to be ourselves and to feel a sense of belonging, even if it is a temporary space. And this idea of the earth and the idea of continuing to use this metaphor of the gracious garden, the grace-filled garden, I'm thinking that our CSL community is like one root system, and the Baha'i community is like another root system, and above ground, both may look different. Some similarities, but they're different indeed. And yet underneath the soil, the roots grow side by side. Some of those roots intertwine, Jean. Jean is a member. Oh, and if you talk to her about the Baha'is, she is deep in this teaching. She's not a practitioner of CSL, but we have so much in common that she feels at home here. And so this idea of roots being intertwined is so beautiful to me, because what I know about that is that we get to exchange nutrients. Our community brings a beautiful energy to this sanctuary, and we hold it dear, and we are good stewards for this sanctuary. We allow ourselves to bring our whole selves, to bring the good energy, to treat this place like it's our home. I imagine, though, that there might, if one of the Baha'i community walked in and saw Home Sweet Home, that might, But the thing to know about this altar is it's on a tray, and it can be moved anywhere. And that's actually where we are right now, in this beautiful liminal space of knowing that no matter where we find ourselves, because we belong to each other, just like all life belongs to the Mother Earth, that we are home. And that home isn't about the four walls, it isn't about the foundation. It's about what we cultivate together as community. There's a wonderful, you may be familiar with it, in 1854, Chief Seattle shared this speech, and I can't grab exactly where he was when he shared this, but there was something in his speech that I want to share with you that I think is very profound and very relevant to what we're talking about today. And so Chief Seattle said, "Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every meadow, every humming insect, all are holy in the memory and experience of my people. We love this earth as a newborn loves its mother's heartbeat. So if we sell you our land or rent you our space, love it as we have loved it, care for it as we have cared for it, hold it in your mind and hold the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land for all children, love it as God loves us, as we are part of the land, you too are part of the land. This earth is precious to us. It is also precious to you. One thing we know, there is only one God. No human, be they a red person or a white person, can be apart. We are all siblings, after all." So that sentiment of really appreciating where we're planted, and we could be planted anywhere. We are planted here right now, and we were planted on the top of Pico in San Clemente, and wow, I forgot the name of that area already. Talega, in Talega. We were planted there for a while, and as we continue to do this, and I say do, but it's really live this philosophy of what Ernest Holmes taught, what he brought together when he did a synthesis of all the different spiritual teachings. As we continue to do that, we can absolutely continue to evolve and to grow and to blossom wherever we're planted, right? There's that wonderful meme, blossom wherever you're planted. And Ernest Holmes writes this about nature, and the power of it, which serves as a beautiful metaphor for where we're at right now. He writes, the combined intelligence of humanity could not create the life of a plant. Yet the intelligence in the creative soil of earth will produce as many for us as we ask when we plant the seed of that which we wish to have created. And so we have this divine design that we're working with. It is a system of divine design where we consciously plant seeds so that we can have the experience out here. One of my favorite mystics is Joel Goldsmith, and I'm going to share one more reading with you that sort of ties all this together. If you're not familiar with Joel Goldsmith, he was the founder of the Infinite Way, and he was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. And he wrote many, many books which are really transcriptions of his letters and his talks. And he wrote this wonderful piece when he was expanding on that biblical quote of the peace that passeth all understanding. And he shares about how we can experience not only peace, but an infinite supply of perfection and health. And he writes, the reason all people are not experiencing health, wealth, harmony, safety, and security is that they have not consciously turned within to receive the divine grace or peace. They have the peace which the world can give, but they have not turned within. They have not sat in the silence, the inner communion, making space until they receive the assurance of the divine grace. And so, friends, I think that's what really sets the value in our community, that we create this space where people can either come to a Sunday service or take a class or join a like-minded community that meets weekly and continue to explore and plumb the real power that lives within each one of us. And when we do that, we teach people through providing these spiritual tools to access their own innate magnificence. We're not asking anyone to believe as we believe or do as we believe. We ask you to come and find out for yourself how you can explore this teaching and use it in your lives. And as many of you long-timers know, some people come through this community for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And when we teach people, it's sort of that axiom of teach a person to fish versus giving them a fish, right? We teach people to fish. And when we do this powerful teaching and sharing of these principles, when we help people to access their own magnificence, it's not so different than Mother Earth and the life that she gives all organic plants and beings. And so I think to really stretch this metaphor, it's sort of like taking wood from a tree. The wood might give you some shelter from the elements. It may provide you with some other physical structure, but it will not provide you with the same life force that Mother Earth gives the living tree. And our teaching, you might get a couple of nice little tricks to use in your life to shift things around, but unless you come and begin to really practice these principles, you will not get the life force that comes through them, that changes people's lives for good, that creates that glow up, that transformation. And so as we move through the rest of this stewardship month and this month of glowing up, I want to share this blessing with you. And I invite you to accept it and carry it with you throughout the week. And it's quite simple. May we continue to plant seeds of love wherever we go. May our gratitude make holy ground beneath our feet. And may our home, the one we carry in our hearts, continue to expand until it includes the whole world. Thank you very much. Yes. And so I'm just going to add a really brief spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So if you'll just go within and know with me that the power and the presence, the very thing that gives life to the mighty oak tree, that gives life to all the fishes in the sea, that is the power within the wave, that comes from the ocean, that is the wind beneath our wings. We know that this is the same power that we are always working with, that we allow ourselves to be that infinite expression, moving through life, knowing that energy is merely making a pit stop in whatever we're experiencing. And so we allow ourselves to infuse all things with the spirit that is moving through us. We are good stewards of it. We're grateful for it. And so it is.